Okay, so in this age of AI, there's this brand new skill we all need to have, and it's just as important as knowing how to type. It's learning how to actually talk to AI. Because let's be honest, getting an answer is easy, but getting the right answer, well, that's the real game changer we're going to master today.
You've totally been there, right? You ask an AI a question, and what you get back is bland, totally useless, or just way off the mark. It's so frustrating. But here's the secret. The problem isn't usually the AI, it's the prompt. And you know what? That's a problem we can absolutely fix. You know, the best way to think about it is like this. You're talking to a super brilliant student who's literally read every book ever written, but has zero real-world experience. If you give them vague instructions, you're going to get a textbook answer. But if you give them precise instructions, that's when you unlock some real brilliance. So here's our game plan. First, we're going to cover the single most important rule for talking to AI. Then we'll see how to use it to turn AI into a research assistant. Then an everyday personal assistant. And finally, as a cool new way to paint with words. Okay, so what is this golden rule I'm talking about? It's not just a little tip, it's a completely different way of thinking about how you talk to AI. And trust me, it's going to transform every single result you get from here on out. It really all boils down to a super simple three-part formula. First up, context. You got to tell the AI who to be. Should it be an expert, a coach, a programmer? Next, you give it a clear task. Don't just ask about something, tell it to do something, like create a list or summarize this article. And finally, number 3, format. You tell it exactly how you want the answer. Do you want a table, an email, or just some bullet points? Context, task, format. That is the magic key. Let's look at this in action. A weak prompt, like write about sports, that's just a black hole. You'll probably get back some generic, boring essay. But a strong prompt, it gives the AI a role. As an expert sports coach, that's our context, and it gives it a clear instruction. Give me tips, that's our task. The quality of what you get back won't just be a little better, it's going to be in a completely different league. All right, now that we've got the golden rule down, let's put it to the test. We'll start with one of its most powerful uses, turning AI into your own personal research assistant. So instead of spending hours slogging through these really dense papers, you can ask the AI to be your research assistant. Just give it a paper and ask it to pull out the key points, or organize the conclusions into a nice clean table. You can even have it play devil's advocate and point out where an argument might be weak. It's a massive time saver when you're brainstorming or trying to structure your own work. And what about one of the absolute worst parts of academic work, citations? Oh man, AI is brilliant at this. It doesn't matter if your field uses APA, MLA, or Chicago style. You can just give the AI the source information, tell it the format you need, and boom! It handles all the tricky punctuation, the ordering, all those little rules just perfectly. Now, all this is incredibly powerful, but it comes with a huge responsibility. Using these tools for school or research means we have to be super careful about the ethical lines. And that brings us right to plagiarism. It's a really simple concept, right? If you take words or ideas that aren't yours, and yeah, that includes text generated by an AI, and you pass them off as your own, that's academic dishonesty. The best way to think of it is as scientific theft. The AI is a tool to help you think, not to think for you. So how do you use AI without crossing that line? You paraphrase. But this is more than just swapping out a few words. First, you have to truly understand the main idea. Then you rewrite it in your own words using a totally different sentence structure. And finally, and this part is so important, you add your own analysis, your own examples to make that insight truly yours. Okay, but AI isn't just for schoolwork. It's an amazing tool for just navigating our daily lives. If you use the right prompts, it can become the most efficient personal assistant you've ever had. Think about the daily grind, that tricky professional email you have to write, trying to make sense of a totally packed schedule, or just figuring out why your printer won't work. Again, for all of these things, AI can give you a clear, structured answer. It's not just for big projects, it's for making your day-to-day life just a little bit smoother. Here's a perfect practical example. Instead of just staring at a long to-do list and feeling totally overwhelmed, you can hand that whole mental load over to the AI. Just list your tasks and ask it to create a schedule. It handles the planning, which frees you up to focus on the actually doing. All right, for our last section, we're going to shift gears from the logical to the artistic. We're going to explore how to use the exact same principles of being super specific to become a digital artist and generate some absolutely incredible images with AI. So, to create a really great AI image, we're going to build our prompt in layers. So, forget just saying a man in a forest. We start with a really rich description of our subject. Who is this person? What do they look like? What are they wearing? Every single detail adds another layer of depth. A character just standing there is kind of boring. So our next layer is action. What is our subject doing? The word slowly adds a whole mood to it. Holding an ornate wooden staff adds another interesting detail to the scene. See, we're bringing the image to life. Now, where is all this happening? We have to create the environment. A dense forest sets the scene, right? And colorful autumn leaves adds texture and color to the ground. We're literally building a complete world. Okay, this is where the real artistry comes in. How is the scene lit? Because lighting completely changes the mood. Warm sunbeams tells you it's a specific time of day, and adding a misty atmosphere introduces this sense of mystery, of calm. And finally, how should the final image actually look? Should it be a photograph, a cartoon, a sculpture? Here, we're specifying an impressionist oil painting, which tells the AI exactly which artistic style to pull from. And we ask for high detail just to make sure we get a high-quality result. And when you combine all those layers, the subject, the action, the environment, the mood, and the style, you get something that isn't just a command. It's more like a detailed recipe for an entire scene. You've given the AI a precise blueprint to create something truly spectacular. And this really is the perfect way to wrap this all up. The goal of this technology isn't to replace our creativity or our intelligence. It's a tool, a really powerful one, designed to boost our own abilities and help us explore ideas and create things we just couldn't before. So you have the framework now, the golden rule of context, task, and format. You know how to use it for research, for your daily life, and for your own creative work. You've got the keys. The only question left is, what doors are you going to unlock?